even in this small ball era, you got, if you have a top shelf, low post guy who can pound it in, I mean, you're still better off. Everybody still wants one, and Duncan is still the number one guy in that department.
I'll tell you the difference, though, between Nash and Nowitzki is that I feel like Nash genuinely gives a crap that he might not make a championship finals, and I think he thinks about it all the time, and I think he gets mad at his teammates. And, like you look at what happened to him the other day when he had that cut on his nose and he was trying to come back in, and of course the trainer, for some idiotic reason, had no Vaseline on the bench. Like, you put some Vaseline, that stops bleeding. Anyway, if that had happened to Vince Carter, I think he's still lying on the court. I don't even think I think 2 days have passed and he's still lying there writhing around and crying, and he's probably in a coma. These guys are so afraid to make a mistake, and they're so afraid to do anything. These guys would actually rather pick number 2 in this draft.
Well, are you surprised? They're afraid because they know that if they make a mistake, they're going to end up in atrocious GM Summit Take 3.
Well, you know what? Don't make a mistake. How hard is it to be an NBA GM? I mean, seriously. I honestly feel like I could devote 2 hours a day to doing it and run any NBA team better than 20 of these guys. It's all common sense. I mean, seriously.
I don't think it's as easy as you make it out to be.
Oh, come on. I'm telling you. Because when we were growing up, they didn't have these basketball camps and these instructors, and now it's like people come off an assembly line, everybody shoots the same.
Right.
I like the guys with the different shots. Like I remember like Jamal Wilkes was my favorite shot growing up. It was like coming from his spine basically.
Right.
But it is, man, is it ugly.
Yeah, if Wilkes comes from his spine, then Marion's comes from his scrotum or something.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think Sean has ever stopped to think about the fact that he doesn't shoot it like everyone else. He just plays basketball. He doesn't, like I said, he's not the guy that's in there after the day's practice where he went 0 for 8 and concerned about it, which is probably a really great thing for basketball.
Do we need this stuff? Do we need to trap the fans with the jumbotron and the constant music?
It's so interesting that you say that. I mean, I agree with John, but I think we're a minority. I think that the surveys of the fans actually shows, believe it or not, that what you and I think, or John and I think, is just a lot of noise, is very well received. And maybe that entertainment is like number 1 or 2 on the list after the basketball for enhancing the fan experience. I was very surprised by the result of that poll. Our teams, do we need our eyelashes singed by fireworks? I don't know. I think you could tell the way I phrase it, but I sometimes worry that I'm not the demographic.
Right.
It isn't a bad thing to hear sneakers squeaking during a game. But you know what? To his credit, Mark Cuban tried it a few times, and the Mavericks fans said they didn't like it. He said, all right, Stern, I'm going to try it your way. And he shut things down. And the fans felt that it detracted from the entertainment experience. It doesn't detract from my entertainment experience, but I think that we're in a minority.
That's depressing.
In mine too. It was really, especially that first night, I had no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
I had no idea if he was going to think it was funny or he's going to get mad, and just flashing through my head was, is this a guy who bit Mazirov, not just once. I mean, it wasn't just like there was a sudden snap and he bit the ear. He went for the second ear.
Yep. He's hungry.
When you go for the second ear, that's a major move the second time.
I think he wanted to escalate it. I think the first ear, I think, wasn't a strong enough statement for him.
I just thank God Evander Holyfield doesn't have more ears. Who knows where it would have led.
Tell the Allen Landry story.
It's not really a story as much as it was like, it's like being in the middle of a dream where, Allen Landry came on the show and she was just, she's just ridiculously hot. Not that she doesn't look hot in TV or magazine, but in real life, it makes you want to strangle Mario Lopez to death. But you could cheat on her. I don't know why. Anyway, but she comes on and he was fired up. He got a look at her and, he just was fired up and, he could barely contain himself. And I started to get worried that he was, I don't know, that he was going to grab her and then we're going to have the first televised rape. I didn't know what was going to happen. And I remember looking around my desk and thinking, if I have to stop this, how am I going to handle this? I mean, my security team is a 73-year-old man and, some like 112-pound illegal immigrant. You know, I'm not going to get any help from them. And I remember looking at the phone. I had one of those big, heavy, old-time phones on my desk and thinking, I'll pick this up and hit him on the head. And
well, he's pawing at her.
Him for just long enough that we can get away.
He was pawing at her, remember?
Yeah,
I mean, it was almost like watching a giant
dog
dog pawing at like a piece of beef or something. Let's get to this week's guest. He won 5 championship rings during his 15-year NBA career. He's the only guy who played with Shaq, MJ, and Tim Duncan. He called NBA games with Marv Albert on TNT for the past 4 years. And this summer, he became the new GM of a Suns team that's favored to win the 2008 title. Steve Kerr, when is your lucky streak ever going to end?
I hope not for a while, but you hit that right, man. It seems like everywhere I've gone, I've ended up next to superstars. I mean, you're by the way, you're the only person who knows that I played with Shaq.
You know what this team needs? This team needs a 3-point shooter off the bench. I think you should sign yourself. Player GM.
Yeah.
Has there been a player GM?
You know what? That's a good question. I'm guessing. No, I actually played in an alumni game at Arizona last weekend, and I shot an air ball from 20 feet, and basically made the decision that I was kind of thinking about the player GM thing at that point. Then I decided against it after the air ball.
We learned this through a third party that Julius Jones is a smoker.
Yeah.
How can an NFL starting running back smoke cigarettes?
It doesn't make sense.
That is amazing to me.
Yeah,
that should be a whole Outside the Lines episode.
Yeah, you're right. Well, they just busted Michael Vick for marijuana use. You saw that.
Yeah, I don't think he's having a good year.
I like that the judge ordered for him to stay home. That's the thing. Like, this is going to be a problem for a dog slaughtering pot addict. Okay? No, you have to stay home. Okay.
And the other thing is, do you think you think he's like delighted by this whole Belichick camera thing? Kind of wiped him off the paper for out of the papers for 2 weeks.
It did take him off a little. It did take him out of the spotlight.
I'm surprised he hasn't been leaking information to Chris Mortensen and Peter King about other camera things to
you're right.
keep him off the pages. Maybe that's why he's so rich, because he knew not to sign Romo until Romo had an awful game.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah, Romo made it cost himself $10 million. Do you feel confident about Romo, or do you think it was an aberration?
I think I think he's good. I don't know what happened there. Only 4 of those were his fault. People think all 5 were his fault, but only 4 of them were really bad.